Buddhist.
So Tony, explain the whole process here, what you're going to do. These are tilapia, all that
They're,
good
they,
stuff.
well, this is our test facility for raising tilapia, which aquaponically we're raising vegetables off the effluent and recycling it. These are the last 3 tanks we have left. We've sold most of the fish now. And here's a typical feeding event. You guys want to get wet, you're going to get wet in them. They get a little crazy.
Yeah, because it's competing, or just...
Yeah, they just
taste it and then they go.
it's how they I guess in the wild when they feed they're used to grabbing and going so they don't become
targets. Sometimes at the beginning, until we got them trained, they would go airborne, like they hit the plastic above the
I had
water.
one hit me in the chest.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay, now let's go to
Okay,
the
follow.
next.
Let's
These
follow
are
Tony on.
tilapia. They're tilapia. They're Nile tilapia. We've got 3 tanks left. We have all these tanks were sold, and now we're down to 3 tanks because we sold them to get consumed. Okay, these guys will be a little more active.
Why would they be a little more active?
Well, this tank mystery. It's a mystery. These guys are just more aggressive.
Now they're so compact there.
Yeah.
That's enough for them to move around
Yeah.
and to be healthy.
Yeah, and then you can see what's growing from the
And so
this water pipes into a biofilter, which converts the nitrite, the ammonia into nitrites, the nitrites into nitrates, and the plants eat the nitrates. And then the water comes back in here.
So it's a closed loop system.
It's a closed loop system. The only input is right here.
the only input
It
is
is right here with fish food.
And that's all organic feed, too. So we're filling it with salmonoid feed, which is really, really
We've
cool.
got one more tank.
Yeah.
This has my favorite guy in it, this big guy.
there's one guy in particular you like.
Yeah, he's going to be mine. I'm eating him next week.
You're eating him next week.
Oh yeah.
He's
that's the
right
good one,
there. He's a monster. I've been hand feeding him, even on the side.
So I take it you haven't named them yet?
Not yet, no. Yeah, that's Nan's department.
And they name him on the dinner plate.
I will name him Delicious.
Okay.
There we go.
Especially with butter and garlic.
What do you think, John?
Well, this is rather amazing because it ties it all together. I mean, in a very small space to raise fish, the water is being continuously changed, as I understand, or circulated, so that it's good for the fish and it's oxygenated and all that. It goes out, and then you go through these nitrate and everything else conversions.
The filters right here.
The filters
This
there.
catches the poop. The next filter catches the bacteria, which all converts. That's what the netting is. It all converts it. Because the ammonia gets into nitrates, nitrites, and that's what feeds the plants. You look at these.
And then they go out, feed all those plants, and then you're saying that it flows through the plants and back into the tank?
Yep. Drops in, and the plants have filtered that
So
out.
the plants, of course, take some, so you have to have a refill mechanism. So it refills only when
Oh, you only top the water up
a little bit
very little.
from the evaporation of the plants.
That's it. That's all it is, evaporation.
And so it's going back through, it comes back through here. So in terms of a water resource limitation, you can actually do this with very little water
Oh yeah, it's like 2% of the use of regular water in a facility. I mean, it's
because you don't have to empty tanks and refill them and all of that thing.
right.
And so by the recirculation, using plants to clean it for the animals, using animals to feed the plants, or animals, fish, moving around like that.
it's a closed system.
It's a fantastic closed system. And you're doing it with
Recycle.
plastic tanks that are used to send other things over to Asia or Africa for other purposes like oil cleaning up.
Yep,
And then the tank stays there and permanently feeds the village.
that's right.
So how quickly do these fish actually...
The hotter the temperature, as short as 6 months. Colder temperatures like our climate, and confinement too determines their growth rate. You go 12 months. So 6 to 12 months is typical.
12 months actually
Yeah,
grow.
the typical life cycle.
Because
we
small
shorten-
compartments, they don't grow as fast as
Exactly.
they do in a larger tank.
That's exactly it in the water circulation. We intentionally slowed down the growth rate on these fish because we wanted to test all the heating. That's what all this plastic inside the tent inside a tent, or greenhouse inside a greenhouse is all about.
Oh, you have a greenhouse inside a greenhouse.
And that controls all the heat.
Okay.
So your structure is...
So we actually have a air buffer between the outer and the inner section for Canadian climate.
You got it. Well, Vancouver climate.
Vancouver climate.
So you'd want a
Okay,
triple
so
system
we're
if you're
not
up
into
in
a freezing
Montreal.
climate yet, but
Yeah.
yeah.
We had to calculate energy consumption because that's the next stage, right? And also the biggest thing wasn't just the fish; it's the vegetables. These are premium, super organic tomatoes. They're not lettuce at 99 cents a pound.
All right.
We're making Chinese Morning Glory, 48 bucks a kilo. Premium, super crop, dark green vegetables is what we all
Coming out
need.
there, fish coming out here, and the fish actually they generate the heat, or do you have to heat?
No,
these
we
things?
heat them. We
You
heat
heat
them.
it. Okay. So
That's a little oxygenator heater. The oxygen's coming off the compressor, and we have little heaters in the tank to make sure they get a constant temperature
they
during
have
the winter.
constant temperature for
Yeah.
the fish, and that radiates off enough heat for the plants
That's right.
with the shelter that you've built around here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So you heat the fish, but that's adequate for the plants. And then the plants just grow like that in a very shallow basin. Actually, I'm looking at the basins. You sliced off the top of the tank, turned it upside down, and that's your planting basin.
That's right. Yeah. And they're just floating on styrofoam. That's it. We just plug in the plants and turn them out and clean them and
Yeah.
keep using them.
All the plants are floating in styrofoam.
Yeah.
So what are they? They have no soil?
There's no soil. This
They're
is called deep water culture.
Okay.
So it's all floating in water and just getting straight to the root, which accelerates the growth of the plants and increases the nutrition level as well. So that's
They,
really
they have
important.
no soil to grow on.
None whatsoever. We actually took it further.
So these spikes are in the styrofoam now, or in the
That's right.
polystyrene.
You got it.
Okay.
We took it further though. Nan has been really smart. She siphons off the super pure fertilized water, and she feeds it to the plants that grow in the soil. So you get the super plants growing in soil as well.
That's elsewhere, or that's
That's
on
we
the-
move it to the other greenhouse.
to the other greenhouse. So you actually do siphon off some of this water.
Mhm.
That's going back in the loop, and then some of it you siphon off. It gets filled up with fresh water. But
Yeah.
instead of putting fresh water in the plants next door, you let the fish treat it first.
That's right. Super fertilizer.
Or actually, you take it after these filtration
Yeah.
points.
Yeah, I take it down over here.
Okay.
So yeah, it's super fertilizer.
Okay,
That's the
so
whole
these
point.
two things are an important part of it.
Yes.
That we're taking out what nitrates and stuff
Yeah.
here.
This is a solids filter. So the solids, you'll see there's like a bend
Yeah,
in the
accumulation.
piping, and then the poop can come out the bottom. You see.
Okay, because
Which becomes more fertilizer.
Get a
Yeah.
sludge down there, but that sludge is fertilizer you can use elsewhere.
Yeah, and under here, you see the meshing? There's this mesh.
Yeah.
That's what holds the bacteria. That's where the bacteria grabs
The
onto.
bacteria actually grabs to that. It's
You're increasing surface area, so the bacteria has something to hold on to and create the conversion. That's the whole trick. It's how nature does it naturally. I mean, that's the process, but we just concentrate
you're
it.
just able to control it and make it roll.
Simple as that.
And so, where's your objective? Both here, locally in Canada, but also you're looking at third world.
Third world,
Where
everywhere.
You're sending oil lift barrels anyway, containers.
Well, that was where we started. If I can ship them all the oil lift and the flubber dust and everything to clean up the oil pollution, say Nigeria, this goes out in the jungle. Well, these people don't have any food to eat. So once it's there, we send all the parts. They build an aquaponics farm.
Okay,
And they
so
got food right away.
Nigeria has no heating problem.
No eating problem.
So we're talking about minimum electricity around a few pumps.
Mhm.
So we can do that with solar.
Yep.
So your solar powering your pumps. The
Mhm.
heat is already there. You're in a tropical climate,
Yep.
and you're using limited water. So you could do this in a semi-arid region
Mm-hmm.
that normally can't grow plants like tomatoes.
Yep.
And you're not pouring water into the soil and having it just disappear into the dry soil.
Exactly.
You're recirculating the water,
Mm-hmm.
so it's so intact. Wow.
Everything is used. Nothing is wasted. And we're killing, 3 birds with 1 stone, literally.
3 birds. Okay,
Yeah.
what are they?
Well, cleaning up all the oil pollution to begin with.
Okay.
Then feeding the people
With
and the fish, and harvesting your water, minimizing your water use.
Minimizing the water to harvest plants.
Yeah. And so now the next stage, we adapt it tropically, we adapt it up into
And
the
locally,
cold
they can
regions.
figure out what plant is the most advantageous for them.
Exactly.
Here we're looking for premium tomatoes for a premium market.
Yes.
In Africa, they may be looking for more of a foodstuff or something.
Exactly. So it's adaptable.
Because vegetables are hard to grow in a semi-arid climate.
For sure. In this case, it's easy to grow, right? We got it all nailed. Now we go up to the energy consumption phase next year. That's when all the solar and
solar
super
cycle.
pumping systems, so we minimize energy use regardless of where you are.
Right.
So now we're actually becoming a power generating station.
So you think you could generate?
We're gonna
because the solar
over
energy?
we're gonna overcapacity it. Yes,
Okay,
correct.
so overcapacity, so you can add lighting and other things,
So now we're powering the system.
and then you could even attach to that. I know in many small communities, refrigeration for pharmaceutics and stuff is a
Absolutely.
critical part of surviving.
Well, actually, phase 5 of the program, which we haven't got to, that's a big, long film, is to get the functional plants that create functional pharmaceuticals and nutraceuticals and fractionally distillate them. So we can take all the functional chemistry out and supply that to the high-end pharmaceutical and nutraceutical industry. So in a controlled environment.
Wow.
That phase 5 is still 2.5 years away, but it might have to speed up. But once we get there, then that's a whole new different game. This basically is a pharmaceutical manufacturing facility. You have terpenes in trees like in pine. They're worth $30,000 an ounce. So by making it financially viable to the world to do this way, we change all agriculture.
Because that's an offshoot
Yeah.
of feeding people and creating plants that we can eat, and an offshoot is the pharmaceutical thing.
You got it. It goes on and on. Yeah, that's a 2-hour movie, right? So, anyway, you got it. I mean, it worked.
Incredible.
Yeah.